All right, here we go. The final spot in the main draw is on the line. Golden Guardians versus PSG. These are the two teams that deserve to be here. You know, G2 and Billy were on a different tier. These have been the next two best teams, so the system has been working. Golden Guardians has shown the most promise out of any North American team I've actually ever seen at a international event, with the prowess in bot lane specifically, being aggressive, looking to make plays. And I think this is going to be another one of those games where they want to take it to them. You know, even though there's a Karma pick here, they've got Set Kaisa, very nice combination. Going to be very interesting with this team. I think they like Set in response to Cassante, saying, hey, we've got the immovable object. Well, I'm just going to dunk you into your team and see what you think about that. Now, as far as PSG, normally you go Kha'Zix when you have double AP laners. But in this case, Kha'Zix, just being strong for what he is. Last time we saw him, they did get the W evolve despite the nerfs. And their team comp, that was with a Gragas, if you remember. That was G2 looking with Gragas and saying, hey, we're going to use Gragas and Kennen, two AP laners, to blow up the fight and then spread everybody out and let it come to Kha'Zix. Now, they don't have that same tool here. They've got one way to split someone off away from the team, and that's with Cassante's All Out. But apart from that, it's a very kind of long-range pokey build with Karma Ezreal. So I expect this game to not see the evolved hop from Kha'Zix. Instead, probably just going to go with the W, get a lot of poke damage out from this Ezreal Karma Kha'Zix combination. And then Lissandra and Cassandre can pull off the peel for them. Now, Gory on this Ahri, taking as many trades as possible early. This is a matchup that Lissandra, once she gets 2 points in her queue, can just shove the Ahri in. And she's also good matching to whatever roams that we get here. Now, Cassante versus Kennen should be another ordeal entirely. Kennen's going to just rail all over this guy. Expect to see a massive CS lead. And especially right now, since we see Kha'Zix going to bot side, that's going to maintain to be the case. But check out the first gank of the game. It looks like they're going to go for the Karma instead of the Ezreal. Getting the flash. Here we go. They can continue. Yeah, they're going to do it. And they get the kill, which means River gets a nice little reset, gets the self-shield, baits Ezreal into staying just a little bit longer, but not enough to turn into the kill. Beautifully executed. And you see this 3-camp bot gank. Viego's much more adept at doing that than someone like a Kha'Zix. Now, Kha'Zix is on the full clear, and he's already got 5 camps in the belt. So he's going to go finish 6, and he's going to get bot scuttle. So now we'll see whether or not they can show any amount of power here. Karma's going to go probably babysit the Kha'Zix into the river, but they may notice that they just don't need to do that since Viego was at 5% HP and he will definitely be leaving. So check out the engage here. Flash forward into the E, get the Glacial Augment, slow people up. Now here's where Woody had to be a low range stun. Yeah, it gets out. Still holding the stun. Waited, right? You wait until that angle is impossible to miss. And then you go for it. Oh, Gory, do not step back. No. Okay, that is a little bit risky. That is something you're normally not willing to do there. You could have the read like, hey, I've got my Viego coming. Yeah, I could be bluffing them, but that is a risky thing to be doing. All right, so check out the ward that Karma did get out. She gets it in front of the Raptor pit to get some information when Viego will be on the bot half of the map. Something that noticeable about it, actually, it's too far back. It's the minimal amount back that will see the Raptor pit still being taken. But if you put it up further, you'd actually be able to see any jungler coming this. So, for example, if Viego were to skip the camp and go towards bot, right, coming along this path, you'd still be able to spot him out. But instead it won't, so we'll see if there's any ramifications there. Also worth noting, if your team's scouting PSG and you see a ward like that, maybe make an unpredictable path bottom. But just looks like it's a little bit shallow. So the junglers mirroring each other. Kha'Zix only 1 camp in the lead right now, and Viego with the bottom pressure, with the lead in bot lane and with the kill. However, does not have as much farm for himself, despite getting that kill, right? You've got a full serrated Dark from Kha'Zix, who backed after the full clear. So we'll see if Kha'Zix is able to take any sort of advantage right there. Cassante being able to hold on to only a 5 CS deficit up in the top lane is pretty impressive. Although it looks like there might be a freeze going on, so Kennen might have a few more in pocket right now. But Casante's health is whittling down. His mana is getting low. His tools for trading back are probably gone. And yep, there we go. Licorice has won himself the top lane. Getting a freeze, Casante will have to teleport back. Now, Viego's in time where you could actually bring Viego straight back to lane. Let's see if this is the call. He is recalling right now. So you might expect Kennen to also come back and say, hey, we know that Casante has to teleport if he wants to get this wave in. So I can offer a cheaty recall. If he shows up, then I can either stay or teleport back to match. And we can bring Viego up. Now, it does look like Viego's not quite taking it, but he's pinging right here, which might mean that he's looking to take an angle to come in, not get spotted by any ward that might be there. Kha'Zix, does he take the opportunity to go to Dragon if the read on the play is on? Now, something you might not expect for this is a recall timer from the Ahri. Maybe gambling on the fact that the Scuttle hadn't spawned yet, saying, hey, I've got time to get this in. But if you're River, you should be looking to press this top lane advantage right now. Absolutely. And this is something that we saw in the loss to Billy, that River did not take advantage of all of his windows of opportunity. Now, this is definitely one of them. Good job by Casante warding off both of his flanks, but frankly, Viego can just go around, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. He's got the topside advantage. They know that they took Dragon, so he's going to check on red for himself, and if he's wily, he can look at his own minion wave and then see this wave up top, or he can just have the timers down, and you can say, I'm going to go match that to make sure I'm not spotted. Now, take this fight. Obviously, take this fight. He decides to wait for the Kennen to be in position before going forward. So, no, we'll take it. Oh, he dashes over to make sure that he doesn't get all-outed under turret. And they just get a full 40% from the Casante, who does not want to all-out necessarily right there unless he can find the angle. Probably could have tried to look for it. But now Kha'Zix is hovering topside, so expect Viego to just go back to jungling on his own side, trying to get an advantage in the clear. If Kha'Zix decides to hover to help break the freeze here, he might have to come over and just help push this thing in, especially once he sees that red is gone, although I'm sure that was communicated to him by the Casante. But this is becoming a huge point of strength right now. 12 CS in the lead, going to be more egregious now with the Sork Shoes purchase. Now, you do see Merc Treads in, but Merc Treads does not stop all the chip damage that comes in from the Kennen poke on the auto attacks. So we'll see what that is. Now, also worth noting, sometimes you see Kennens go Ruby Crystal instead of Amplifying Tome so that they can keep the adaptive force from the cull. This is into matchups where you're getting lots and lots of auto attacks off. You want your adaptive force to be giving you that extra 12 AD, right? You don't want to be scrounging for AP and only hitting on spells. You want to be hitting on every single attack. So worth noting, when you get that Cull start or the Doran's Blade start, you do want to go Ruby Crystal sometimes into matchups like this. This time Kennen's saying, nope, I'm strong enough right now. I spent 1,500 gold. We got Sork Shoes and the Amp Tome. And that'll be enough for me to actually threaten lethal, even though the poke is a little bit lower. And maybe he's thinking about level 6, right? Just wanting to have that extra AP for level 6. Which makes sense. Now, Huhi, nice job, actually. I like that synergy, right? You block Karma Q, you use the Haymaker to whittle the minions down, and then Kai'Sa's able to just one-shot them down with her Q. Good last hitting there by Ahri. Now, how are we going to set up for this situation? I'd like to keep on playing kind of inside out through top lane right now. Go pay a visit to there, pressure the Casante, and then move together with Kennen and Viego through to mid, put pressure on Lissandra, and then bring everybody down to bot lane for a grand fiesta. This is what I would love to see happen. Here we go, flash for flash. This time Karma not getting lit up. I'm sure the call was already that Ahri was going to be nearby, but Viego as well. So you see that, right? You get two people, you push up mid, and then you come in, you start grabbing a wave. Now, they decide to turn that momentum into a continued freeze. Now, this is slightly going to break because of that one minion taking aggro near the turret. So this freeze will break, but this whole time, Karma Ezreal, as safe as they are, have to be a little bit worried about someone like a Viego. I wouldn't be surprised to see Viego just like throw the shadow off this wall, which it looks like he's beelining for. Okay, opts not to do it. So if you do it, that can be a huge red light for enemy team if you want them to push back, right? Just something simple like that, right? Like right here, he can just hover. He's just chilling. No, he's actually coming in. They say, nah, the read was that Viego would never actually come in here, or maybe just because it's Karma. But man, there was a window there for sure. Actually could have continued if you're willing to expend your flashes and everything to get there. Opting not to do it because set has gone mid. So they get their own point of strength like this. This will be 2 plates in favor of Golden Guardians. I like to see the proactive play. So they're going to jump out to over a 2k gold lead here. Ari's actually going for the third. Gets away with it. Nice. All right. So big spike for the Viego. Viego not spending it, but he does have Divine Sunder already. Magical footwear. This is the biggest spike of the game for the Viego. Expect him to get some work done. Cull is done on Licorice's Cannon. Already at 108 CS. Not quite 10 per minute, but flexing that lead up and top. Was able to hold some freezes as well. So has a half bar experience lead on top of an HP lead. And Cassante is at 40% mana, so struggling. On this side, we'll see if PSG tries to leverage the bot lane wave push of Ezreal Karma and see if they get another dragon. We go for the engage versus Yubao. Now he's self-ulting. There goes the stun. Good lineup. Good chain CC. And they trade dragon for mid, which means that they're also going to get a plate here if they opt for it. Ooh, Lissandra, one of the most powerful champions you can get as a Viego, was not able to get that angle. Now, investing a ward really deep into the position right now. Ezreal is never really going to be afraid. Even if there's people in his jungle, he's still going to be happy to sit up, get those long-range Qs, and then step back. But check out this ward line that you have, right? You've got these beach wards, 2 beach wards, 1 on the pit. This is set up for the dragon. And this is, lingering. Going to give them a lot of extra safety right here, and including the ones in their own. So look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wards out. That is everybody's trinkets being invested. So the call for PSG, and this, something that they've done is right at this moment from 13 to 15 minutes, they've been better on rotations and going specifically through mid. So they use all of their trinkets at 13 minutes, and they try to create points of power. Say, hey, this is the end of lane, our last chance for getting plates. There's a good chance that we can make an organized play for a plate that can't be answered. The analogy would be like when there's 25 seconds on the game clock in basketball, and you have 24 seconds to shoot yourself. You're better off waiting till the very, very end so that they don't get a chance to score back, right? Or even if there's under 24 seconds, right? The idea of I can make a play, you can't. I'm going to run the play out. Same thing in football. I'm going to run the clock out so that I'm making the last play of the game. That's sort of what they're trying to do here. But with plates, right? They show some strength. They end up winning themselves a plate. And because there was only 35 seconds left on plate timers anyways, there was no answer. And now they're going to get this turret. No, they're not. Kaisa hits the W. So Ezreal has to respect the fact that Kaisa might jump in, would in fact jump in for sure, and he does not claim himself the turret. Now 22 CS lead though, very significant from the Ezreal. Kaisa happy to be in this lane for a little bit longer, especially if it's going to be 1v1, because the only person who's getting a kill there should be Kaisa. That being said, Ezreal with Essence Reaver already, if he lands a couple of those Qs, right, just 2 of them, suddenly that changes. If he can keep his stacks up on the minion wave, and you see Kaisa's actually taking the super safe way. Look at how Kaisa came to this lane, by the way. Everybody who goes solo queue, everyone who wants to just cut across their jungle, yep, see what would have happened? Would have been Kazakh's food. A little void morsel, a little snack. So Kaisa goes all the way down their lane and then behind where none of the jungle camps are, where there'd be no reason for a ward to be. That's how far she goes. And that's what you need to do to stay alive in that situation, right? So, that you can almost call that an extra 300 or 450 gold for Golden Guardians. The fact that you're not dying there, not giving that gold, and you're on the map. So this is what we were talking about with the 13 to 15 minutes. You see the continued presence right here. PSG is going to continue littering wards all down the field. They've got complete control of this southern quadrant. I might have expected Kennen to come down here instead of Ari, but they may be opting that Ari is just going to be here just for the time to push the wave and then come back into the group. They're happy to have Kennen in the lane versus Cassante. I wouldn't mind seeing Kaisa and Set go over and threaten lethal on Cassante while also getting the rest of that turret down. But playing inside out is fine. The only problem I have with it is that it favors Ezreal. Right, so if you're trying to go 2v2 mid, Ezreal's happy to stay here by himself, whereas Karma can go roam and help to create this vision disparity that you see in the eastern half of the map. Now, when it does come to the team fight, we should start talking about the shape of the fight. We talked about Set dunking forward while Kennen comes and flanks, right? So we call that the snow cone. Anytime you have a circle of effect that you can lead into. So Set comes up, boom, and the circle comes up top. That's where you get the snow cone effect, and kind of you just branch forward. It's even easier to envision when someone like Miss Fortune is part of the game plan. But this front to back where we see Set's going to dive in, it's going to let Kaisa dive in. They're actually just going to all dive the backside, right? So they're trying to nullify the effect of Lissandra diving forward or Cassante being front to back, saying, hey, we've got access to your entire backline at all times. And because specifically it's Set and Kaisa, we can get back there no problem. So I might expect Golden Guardians to actually challenge for this. They have given up their gold lead. In the form of that turret going down, right? So Ezreal getting all that gold, he's going to be the biggest source of damage. Now, here we go. This is not what you want. You do not want to have any of this damage taken up in the beginning, but we do have a big fight now. Here we go. Kennen's going to clean up the rest. All out comes out for self-peel, and they end up taking the win here. Kaisa's going to clean this up for herself, but you do not want that frontal catch, right? You don't want to be stuck when you're just the 3. You want to make sure that you're already making that motion forward. So a little bit syncopated from Golden Guardians. Would like to see that get a little bit better, but they're able to take the rest of the fight for themselves. Now, a lot of cooldowns being used here. Shelly will go and break down this turret, which will give the lead back to Golden Guardians on top of the one fight. Now expect them to try to turn their focus to the Baron, right? They've got the AoE damage team comp. The way to take advantage of Ezreal is to be fast, to move right inside out. You go power, because Ezreal's going to hold down that mid lane just fine. You don't want to give up side waves to this team, and when you go, it's got to be quick, right, because of these interactions like the Lissandra. Now here we go, flash out, Set in. Now this part right here, you saw the other day that he was not fast enough getting his haymakers out. This time he was just enough, ends up dying to the Ezreal anyways, but if it weren't for that, they would have been fine. And that's how the shape of the fight's going to be. Now that was a little bit bizarre because it was, panic, or I want to say reaction ult from Set, but Set ulting into a face smash into the haymaker and buys time for Kennen to get in, and you see the plan going into effect. Now, that time Kaisa was kind of held very defensively, being waited upon to use to chase down Cassante. But if the circumstances are right, especially if Kennen's getting a multi-man stun, Kaisa will be able to fly anywhere into the backside. And of course, everyone's going to have stacks on Plasma because of the amount of stuns that are flying around here. And that is a big underutilized part of Kaisa's kit, and one of the reasons why she was so good with Amumu was that Umumu was shredding, I don't want to say shredding, but amplifying your magic damage, actually. Your magic damage, an extra 10% gets dealt as true damage, which is very good for Kaisa's executes. Also, the fact that Umumu could apply 3 stacks of plasma with a QRQ, right? So if you're playing it well, you go Q, auto R, Kaisa comes in, hit, there we go, that's 1 plasma stack gone. And then you go and you get your follow-up Q as the Amumu, and then you get a second plasma stack being popped off. So very, very big single target damage with that combination. But you see something similar from Set, has the chance to put it on a lot more champions. Nautilus, I didn't see if was banned out, but might have been banned. Sometimes you prefer Nautilus over set. But sometimes you take set and say, hey, are you guys willing to play Nautilus? Because we're happy to dunk them back. That's what Golden Guardians did last time. Now, careful. They're jumping on River. Quick flash. Quick flash. Absolutely mandatory that he get that flash off. Now, Ari's saying, hey, you're missing some tools. Let me jump back in. This champion, Gory, has still yet to die in multiple matches now on Ari. Let's say, do they spot this ward out? It's going to be, boom, that's the one that almost got you killed, River. Great play by PSG, setting up for a death bush, creating the vision. You see 2 wards out there, creating some redundancy. As we expected, Junjia upgrading the W, which classically was always the best upgrade for Kha'Zix in Pro. But, however, with the changes, right, big change to not be 99% slow, right? Going from 99 to 70 is a big deal. It's still a lot of slow. It's still enough where if it connects, it should allow Karma or Ezreal to follow up. Now, let's see. Is Kennen actually in trouble here? Aji using the dash to stop it. Now, using the buffer from the all-out to dodge the stun. Now, can Licorice just win the fight anyways? Oh, my goodness. He wins it. It ends up being a traded kill. They get the assist, but the fact that Kennen's able to take one down in that fight shows how absolutely massive into this matchup he is. And here we go. Ari going crazy aggressive. That is the Summoner Spellbook down. The cleanse is down from Lissandra. Now they have to turn back. Look at all the vision that's being laid down again. Again, it's like the whole team waits and they say, hey, we're going to put down wards at the same time. This is an unnatural amount of wards on the field. And it will be the last time. All right, you're going to see the rest of the laners changing their trinkets after this point, because post 20 minutes, it's just far too dangerous to check bushes. But this is incredible. I can't believe that Licorice actually got that kill. It's the gum. Mental acuity, keeping your mind sharp. Or the hair, But look at all this vision. Incredible. A lot of this is zombie wards, right? I guess, that's what we have to measure. Now, Golden Guardians making the meta swap, saying, hey, you guys want Dragon? That's great, because we want Baron, and we want you to come to Baron. We want you to dive in, watch Huhi get his position. No, they end up pulling away. Okay. Now, I don't like where Huhi put himself right there. A little bit too far. No reason to protect for the Licorice. You want to be always in position to get that shot off. So now, do they bluff back, right? Kha'Zix perfectly capable of taking this Dragon very, very quickly on his own. So going right now with the isolated damage. Now, they're going to force the fight. The read is Kha'Zix is there. We haven't seen him. He must be on Dragon. Let's go get a chunk out. Now, let's go back to Baron. Now, this time Kha'Zix will be able to finish it and should finish it. Now, the tools from Ezreal. Ezreal ult is up. Lissandra ult is up. These are 2 of the best tools around the pit. Lissandra being one of the best champions, period. Now, missed opportunity here. You had cleared all the vision, right? So you can actually, those are the moments where you can set up death bushes. Force enemy team to use blue trinkets. Now here we go. Huhi diving in. Lissandra with a zoning E. They're a little bit split apart. This is not the shape that you want to take. Cassante happy to take this position. Now Waco's going to get some free time on the turret. So they're going to look to try to force this. Look at that big wall on the right side of Aji and Nubao. And they end up just taking some chunk damage on the turret and walking away. So Golden Guardian missing a couple angles there. PSG wisely moving forward together. Have to be careful, though, when you get in that left to right situation, which is fairly uncommon. These 2 walls can be huge problems. And PSG definitely put themselves in that spot. Now, Set found the angle, but is unable to get the follow-through damage. Watch out! He has to flash. Good ultimate there by Ezreal into the corridor. So you get the ult as the Set, but basically it's just a way out. Ends up flying one player over the rest of the entire team and is unable to get the stun to follow up. So now how do we approach the rest of this team, right? You have a range disadvantage, right? Ari, fairly low range. Kennen, not the highest range. Kai'Sa, not the highest range. And when we get into the fights, like we said, there's going to be a lot of diving. Oh, here we go. They got to catch up front. Good job by Kai'Sa being willing to jump forward, get all the way in. Now you've got a Kha'Zix, which means you've got jumps, which means you've got resets. For river, this is going to be Baron for them. That is a colossal mistake by Junja. Stepping up. Now, is it, he needs to be there potentially, and you can maybe say that Aji just needs to be there as well. You know that this is Golden Guardians' ticket. So, I like what PSG is doing, and this is something that they've done better than every other team so far in the tournament. If something's going wrong, make it go right. Make something right. All right, so they go here. They say, all right, fine. We lose Baron. We lost 2 lives. Where's the one place on the map that we can make a meaningful impact? Well, north side's not going to do anything. West side doesn't protect against Baron anymore. Let's take it on the south side and actually start preparing for this dragon that will be coming up and saying, hey, we'd like to get a little bit of vision here, a little bit of pressure in the bot lane. This just, how does this happen? How does a Kha'Zix go in like that? Karma not having like the speed boot mantra shields up. That's just bizarre. You don't expect to play like that. Ooh, there we go. All right, Banshees being procced. Banshees does not stop Kennen ultimates. Now they're going to be able to beat the Audrey. No, they don't get it, and no one's able to follow up that part of the fight. So you end up reaching on this side, and no one's going to get it. So are they going to continue pressing? They've got the Baron. They say, hey, you've got a lot of tools down. Even though Kennen's dead, he will have teleport. He will be able to join. He will not have ultimate, though. We are just going to continue pushing up while we have an HP lead, and the fact that you're missing some ultimates, right? 5 ultimates being down. Of course, Karma's is going to come back up. But they're saying, hey, we're still strong. 3 ultimates, guys. 3 ultimates is like a champion. If you have a 3 ultimate lead, then you can make up for being down a champ. Now, here we go. We get the engage. No way. They're trying so hard for this 4v5. Now, this I don't like. Reaching under turret. You're not that far ahead. Kaisa gets the kill, though. They end up getting just Ezreal as he goes too far forward to try to get a little bit more chip. Now, again, Woody at full health again. I'd like to see Woody trading his HP bar a little bit to give some pressure for his teammates because they're not taking advantage of the extra range that they should have in a siege like this. It is a problem with the Baron minions, of course. And Set forcing over the wall, though. Right, we're talking about 4v5. Yes, they're low enough, but you have to be very, very careful of that. I like that they're going for the play, right? That part is incredible. That's something that North American teams don't do at international events. So very good to see that, but a little bit of a risk, and would not have gotten anything if Karma were just a little bit further up. So now you see Quicksilver Sash being purchased by Waco. He wants to get out of the Set dunk so that it just drops you in place. Let Set go for the rest of the journey by himself. Can also stop the stuns from Kennen, Viego, and the charm from Ori. So all of those are valuable tools, but Stixxay is on 3 items. So has catapulted ahead of the Ezreal. That QSS is not a completed Lord Doms. Now this is something that we see from Hankyu. He always goes Duskblade, right? So he goes for single target, your Essence Reaver, you get Duskblade, you can get Manamune Duskblade, and that's like your big spike. By going for Lord Doms, right, so much of your damage is magic. Even if you are dealing, big chunks with your Q, Ezreal's still about 30% magic damage, and Lord Dom's just, it's not offering all that it can with the armor pen going into the game. Also, this team, right, they're not really going to be stacking armor against you. Sorry, I got backwards. Yes, they will. Against Kha'Zix, Cassante, Ezreal. I was looking at Golden Guardians team, which is almost entirely magic damage. So the Black Cleaver, a little bit out of place from Viego, although the cooldowns are just exceptionally nice for himself. That's normally something I'd like to see Set get, just to have a little more impact on his ultimate, but staying alive also good. So I expect, Dead Man's Plate, and then it's going to be like Even Shroud or potentially Locket. But very much so the Set wants to say, hey, when I grab someone, that's go time. So Even Shroud usually the way. Locket could be good enough, especially against a poke team, saying, hey, I can make up for any poke damage that was done. So now what's the technique here? We've got middle inhibitor down. Normally you'd put Kennen into this lane to help push in the supers while the team sieges top. Now in this case, right, you're so far away, you still have an inner turret They don't need to rush this super in, right? They'd rather just bring people in slowly, kind of walk to this turret as the super's walking in mid, and ideally double stacked supers going mid while you crash in top. They say, hey, we don't have enough time to accomplish that without compromising our chances of getting to Baron on time. So they opt not to. They opt for the resets. Kennen is going to fix the bot wave. Something that we saw last time from Licorice, a little bit of impatience in this situation where you just take the whole wave and then leave. Slightly better, especially when it's on your half of the map, just taking the casters and let the wave build up, right? It's a huge, long wave. If you just kill the casters and walk away, or just kill a couple of these minions, right? Just EW and just leave. Right now, just leave. Nope, he's staying. Okay. If you just leave there, that turret, that wave would be building that much closer to your turret. I don't want to hover because of spoilers. But if you leave that wave, it'll stack up and the other wave will catch up to it. And suddenly you'll have a 14 or 12 to 14 minion wave against their 7, which will just obliterate it and then go on to the next wave. And by the time you're catching and beating the next wave, your other wave has caught up. And by the end, you're going to end up with 18 minions, 3 cannons, all barreling down to the enemy base, which is enough to break structures. So in this case where you're trying to set up for Baron, which they very much are, you'd like to have the bigger wave here. And you'd like it to be going slowly. Now look at where Set's going. Set's saying, I want the angle. I want to turn on this fight. The control ward that's behind them looking for the flank. This is something I didn't necessarily expect to see from the set, is to be like part of the engage team. I thought he would just be the counter engage team. I don't really like where he's getting at. Maybe you just really wanted that ward to be a teleport ward for Kennen. You tuck it into the wolf pit so it doesn't get seen by anything. But you see how, because that wave got to the other half of the map fast enough. Oh, here we go. Here's the fight. No, we're reaching. You don't want the reach here. You get one pick, and we get it on Ezreal. So that's the one. That's the one target that you're willing to reach for and connect with. That bottom wave, because it went there so quickly, and because it didn't have time to stack, it's kind of stagnating. You see this? It is building, right? But right here, one more time, it's going to be one more wave that connects with it. It's going to wipe out and go into the turret, and it's not going to be that big, right? It's going to be about 10 minions. Compare that to having 18 barreling into the base. There's a big difference, and the fact that it would be happening right now, while you're taking the Baron, so the enemy team would definitely be stuck in a rock and a hard place. Now, let's see. Are they pressing up? Junja using the jungle camps to get some more healing. Viego, they burst it out. Now, here we go. They used cooldowns to get this down. Lissandra self-ulting, gets the extra damage. Now, Junja sped apart from the team. The teleport's coming in. Let's see how they hold the fight. They end up chasing down Lissandra to get that first kill, make sure that she's not getting any drones. And River just going on reset city. Viego going cracked. They are going to win this fight. They're going to win the game. They're going to teleport to bot. No, Kennens is down. Ahri will teleport to bot wave if she survives this. And they will go win. You know what? They're just going to go straight through mid. The supers are coming in at the same time. Inhibitor is respawning. Make no mistake about it, though. This is 24 seconds for Woody's respawn. The game is over. All they have to do is knock down the rest of these turrets. Gory buffing them up. Set should actually step back and bring the rest of the minions with them. If you're pinched for time, right now it's not even close, right? They're going to get this with time to spare. It's just going to be Karma that's respawning, but no one else, not even Lissandra, will be up by the time this base is already in shambles. If you're pinched for time, you need an extra like 2 seconds. Set back up, go get the minion wave, bring it in, and then go from there. And frankly, if Kennen, right, you didn't shop with that money. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how much money he ended up, but let me just show it real quick again. Look how long this minion wave is just like stagnating here. If you instead don't kill all of these minions, if you just kill these casters right here and leave your minion with an advantage, your minion wave with an advantage, just kill these casters and then walk away, right? Your 6 will slowly beat their 4. Your 7 will reinforce before their 7. You will have the bigger wave and it will collide about right here. Then you'll have a bigger wave and it will collide right here. Then you'll have a gargantuan wave right here that'll be stacking with 3 waves, which will be enough to go here. So a slight improvement available to Golden Guardians, but very nicely done. I love the positioning from Set, looking for all the different wards. Love how they played this fight, and Viego showing just how insane that champion can be in the end game.